Okay, I think it's working. All right, this is just so stupid. I hate this embedded chat stuff. We're just gonna have a YouTube welcome to live chat here within the thing. I don't know what else is going on. I give up on the restreaming app. True, true, true. All right, good enough. True, 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 true. True, true, true. All right, where'd my music go? This music is some banger content right here. Where did the chat go now? View, docs, chat. There we go. True, true, true. True, true, true. Okay, let's see. 1 second. My whole life just got flipped upside down because of that streaming issue. All right, let's see. True, true, true. What the hell is this? Can I not watch my chat on a Okay, I guess I just can't do pop-out chat on an iPad. So I guess it'll have to be like that. Based? Based? All right, so I have this issue where the last chunk doesn't have a resource bound to it. Apparently, on OpenGL specifically. Except, weirdly, this looks like a valid pointer. Right. But they're all the same pointer, which is not correct. These should be different, I believe. So that's a little bit suspicious. So it's like it can render the first chunk fine, but if there's more than one, it doesn't work. So the question is, why is it doing that? Okay, let's see. What is this called? On a vertex buffer. So when I create the vertex buffer, I should probably stop printing this. True. Why am I creating so many of these? All right. Oh, it's this assertion, not the other one. What am I doing? What is this? What type is this? 32. It could just be the IDs aren't being created correctly. If the resource is not a null pointer, and the ID is not null, how could it possibly be hitting this assertion? Because the ID is very clearly not null, and the pointer is very clearly not null. Right. What am I missing? Index buffer. Oh, I need resource. True. No. That's still fine. Right? No, I can't read. I'm an idiot. There we go. That looks more like it. So why would it get a null ID? Which one is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. True. I meant to do unsigned. True. Oh, come on. What now? So annoying. Okay, that very clearly has ID 12 here. And then it gets reset at some point. Which is pretty weird. That's pretty weird. Why would that be? That is crazy. Resource.id equals. Or I guess I could just say do I ever change the ID in here? The thing is, this works on DirectX, and this uses the same thing here. So I'm doing something in OpenGL that resets it, probably. I'm probably like, where I should be checking if it's null, I'm probably assigning it to null, would be my first guess. So let's just see if that is a thing happening in here somewhere. No. That's not what's happening. So I initialize, and then I set, remove. So I guess I could just check if this is getting removed at some point. I don't know why that would be happening though. Yeah, it is. Am I like unloading chunks or something? What? Do I do this in DirectX? Yeah. So there's a discrepancy here between OpenGL and DirectX. So let's just print some stuff. Where am I removing? Let's see. That's actually... So where is this getting called from? Draw GUI. Draw text. Oh, so it's from the font rasterization. Whoa. Yeah, so DirectX calls texture free, or OpenGL calls texture free from GFX texture 2D. And then that calls remove on DirectX or on OpenGL. And I'm calling a vertex buffer resource.remove on a texture in OpenGL, which is not very smart. So why am I doing that? Let's be doing this. Boom, problem solved. The shadows don't work, which is interesting. So I'm not sure why the shadows don't work. No, they kind of work. It's like their UV coordinates are flipped or something. All right, let's remove all this stuff in here. So I basically want to keep some of this stuff. I want to keep this. And what else do I want to keep? It's just a bunch of logging. I want to keep this. And I want to keep this. And then I want to revert this. I don't need that. Alright, yeah, that should be fine. OpenGL actually works surprisingly fast on this rendering, on this little voxel prototype. I'm just gonna do some stuff with YouTube here for a second. All right. Now I want to figure out why the shadows don't work. So on DirectX, if we generate shadows, put them here, and oh shoot, render doc. Ouch. So basically it looks like that, which is what I expect. Or no, it's not what I expect here. I want it to look like this. And then if I go to OpenGL, render doc. Depth looks exactly the same as I would expect. So is it just sampling upside down, possibly? That could be it. UV coordinates tend to be flipped on OpenGL. So let's see. Where's this shader? Assets, shaders. Yeah, shaders. One of these does it in the vertex shader. Where's the fragment? Yeah, so if I don't flip these, what happens? Nothing, same thing. Well, that's frustrating. So if I just output color based on this, let's see. What? Alright, and then if we sample DirectX. Oh, this is like the stupid, not normalized depth value, I think. Like if I do depth camera, what happens? I gotta clean these. Oh, why did my sound just break? Why is it still red? I need to fix my caching on the shader files. Because I keep forgetting I need to clear the cache. It's frustrating how this works on DirectX but not OpenGL. Because the whole idea is that these are interchangeable. So, yeah. It's weird as it works around the edges, so I know it's like partially fine. It's as if it can't sample the texture in the vertex shader, potentially. Let's see. Why did it do that? True. All right, I'm gonna figure this out later because this is probably just a stupid little issue. If I had to guess, go read the OpenGL soft source code. I don't even know what that means. Okay, I think I'm going to continue working on the debug console. So I actually think I want to change the logic up for this. Let's see. I want to generate a candidate function list, essentially, or candidate command list. Where is this? Core console. So I have, let me see, where is it? So I have static list. Do I want to use integers maybe? Like, let's see. Let's do like U32s. I'm just gonna do a static. We'll have like 256 possible. Let's just do 32. Now I'm just gonna make it a list for now. Because I love that dynamic memory allocation. So let's see. have a candidates update and candidates draw for each in candidates. I don't actually need delta time here, but I'm just gonna include it for now, just in case I ever need it. Really? What do you mean? Do I not have a const iterator on my list? Is that the problem? Begin. Let's see. Yeah. See, this is why iterators are kind of stupid, actually. How does it not have a candidates draw? Yes, it does. It's literally right here. And I'm gonna not use a iterator here. True, true. And when I draw these, true, true. So let's register some commands. So we have like, where do I register these? Are you serious? What? Oh. Duh. I need to have a command register function. Let's do this for now. True, based, based. Based? Based? All right, we have commands. Now, ideally, as we type, it should rank them based on things. So what are the rules? When I type exit, 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 it should give me commands that are satisfied with this number of tokens first. So like I should see exit appear first. And then if I keep typing, so if I have exit space, it sees that I might want exit world. So that one would shoot up to the top, right? As a suggestion. And then if I type something that isn't world, it would just no longer work. So it's like you have different types of priorities. How do you expect it to autocomplete? And like if I type set, it would probably give me, I don't know, alphabetized maybe? Or doesn't matter. Like set position. So it's like you either have an incomplete function, incomplete command that is a perfect match if you finish the token, and then you have an incomplete command where you have potentially multiple tokens afterwards that you need to type. And is that it? Is that the only rules? Yeah, I'm just gonna write it like that and see what happens. Okay, so let's see. So update candidates. So first we'll check iterate through candidate tokens. Or actually, let me think. So it's kind of like I need to take this logic from up here. Where is it? I just can't think right now. Equals, yeah, right here, I'm looking at it. I essentially just need to modify this. So let's first just see what happens if, let's see. What's the... What's the deal here? This isn't const. Yeah, so here are all my perfect match commands, which actually isn't super useful. Yeah, so I basically have, let's see. I need to track some stuff. So we have U32 or U size, which is like a perfect candidate, maybe. I don't know what to call these. I hate this. I hate terminology. I hate naming things. Let's go like. Okay, I know what I'll do. This will be messy, but for now I'm just gonna have the list split up into basically 2 modes. If the candidate can be completed within this token, I'm just gonna insert it to the beginning. And then if it can be completed with multiple tokens afterwards, then I'll just append it at the end. And then when I render, they'll just be in order, somewhat randomly, but good enough. So, okay, let's just take this logic and where is it? Equals. So rather than returning a Boolean value, I'm gonna have an error or return code. And I'll just make like a little enum for these. So we have exact, which is like you have an exact match, and then you have a partial exact or an exact partial, I don't know. And then you have a partial. So then we return so there's no match. If there's too many tokens, that's a no match. I forget what this was. Where do I test the equality here? Oh, here we go. Yeah, so Why is the text so offset? I guess we should start out assuming it's a partial success. And then there's too many tokens. See, this should be an automatic failure for some of these. So yeah, let's see. I'm just gonna modify this whole function because this is not. So basically, we start out as a partial success. That's like the default state. Oh wait, this is a Boolean. Should be an integer. So like type. Let me change this to candidate match. Maybe just match. Now I'll keep candidate match. So and we'll just return that. So if index is greater than the amount of tokens we have, then we are not a match. Yeah. this is greater than. I should just do. Music's intense. How is that possible? That doesn't make any sense. What? Okay. How is that possible? -1. Why is that returning? Yeah, I know. That printing is not correct. That's just old code. So this is like the opposite of what I want to happen. When it's 0, it should be returning. I think it should be resolved. I just segfaulting? What's going on? Result. Token. I don't know why I'm confusing myself so much. Normally this is easy. It's like, what are the cases here? If the lengths don't match, if yeah, if other is greater than our own length, then that's immediately a failure. And then if the lengths are equal to or shorter, then it should just be the result of stir and compare based on the length of this, I guess, or the length of other, rather. Yeah. So what is this? Why is exit 0? I guess it's because it's up to, it matches up to that. So I guess if they're exactly equal, then it's just the result of this. Right. Be like that. It's either they're equal or they're not. And then otherwise they are either partially equal or not equal at all. There we go. That took way too long to figure out. I don't want to debug. I don't know anything about cybersecurity, so I really can't answer that. I think C++ is a good language to learn, though, in general, so I don't think you can go wrong necessarily learning C++, or even just C. Because I can imagine, at least from a security point of view, like C and C++ kind of make you think about memory architecture a lot more. Whereas Python sort of abstracts away a lot of that stuff. And I can imagine in the security world that memory is probably an important thing to have a good understanding of. But yeah, I can't give an answer to that with any confidence. Let's put these at the bottom. Did that work? Partial exact should be yellow. And partial should be there. Yeah, I guess that could make sense, but that wouldn't work. Well, Does inserting a 0 not place it at the top? Exact partial is going in first, but it's not incrementing. Oh, this should be that. There we go. We're just not paying attention. That shouldn't disqualify it though. So what's happening there? It's not taking into account the required parameters. Oh, is it because the set size? Yeah. That should be an exact match as well. Now this should only happen if it's a parameter. So I guess if we have required. If these don't match, should just break. Do we have the same name? Are we named twins? Ancient. Yeah. I think I'm right on the cutoff. Well, actually, that's not true. I was born in 98, so I'm in like the weird in-between phase between the Gen Z and the millennials, I think. Probably closer to Gen Z, though. I need to be like early 90s to be a millennial. All right, what's next? Yeah, it's like the complete opposite. It's like if you want to make a game without code, what I'm doing is the complete opposite of what you should be doing. It's like I'm writing this game with as much code as possible by doing it in C++. But yeah, I've noticed the YouTube algorithm is actually like promoting stuff now. Because I remember in the past, like you would, I don't know, post stuff on YouTube. And unless you like somehow like got views or something, or you already had subscribers, you just like would never show up in the recommended section. But like now most of the people that come by the stream actually aren't from the channel, which is kind of interesting. So I don't know, they must have changed the algorithm at some point. Which I guess is kind of nice because you can actually discover other people out there. Like I'm mostly streaming just so I can stay focused because I can't goof off when I have the live stream up because then it's on record. So Yeah. All right. But yeah, right now I'm working on this little debug console thing when you hit the tilde key. Tilde? Exit world. To do pull-ups. Yeah, right. Except if there's no one there to, if there's no record, it's like, will I do it? No. Yeah. Yeah, you really have to love programming to do what I'm doing, I think. Or maybe not love it, you just have to enjoy the process. And like, honestly, I kind of like programming more than I like making games. But I like making games the most out of any type of programming you can do, because it's like, I don't know, you solve interesting problems. And games are interactive, which is nice. So I like making games when it comes to programming them. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I actually started like making games when I was like 11, I think, or 12. Obviously, I wasn't writing in C++ back then. I was using Game Maker, a game engine. But I've always just been fascinated by like how games work rather than, I guess, just playing them. So here I am. Okay, so we have a matching commands. What stuff are you looking at? Are you looking at this stuff? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's just an overlay I have. I'm just like rendering it on the screen. So like if I came in here somewhere, I don't have a key to toggle it on yet. Where is it? Yeah, like I can turn it off, I think, here. Okay, that doesn't turn it all off. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, this project here is mostly just like a test bed for the engine. This isn't like actually a game. I'm just kind of... Yeah, I use ChatGPT sometimes. Not that often though. It's like I think it's really good as like a, like you can give it a question that seems like really, I don't know, niche, or like you don't know how to word it properly, but you just kind of like spit words out, and it sort of like, it does a really good job of figuring out what you're talking about. And then from there, I can basically, like, it'll give me a response, like some code or something. And the code it gives me usually sucks, or like doesn't work the way I would like it to work. But at least it's a starting point that I can like either look up like what functions they used and why they used them. I can like look those up and then sort of rewrite it how I would like it. So I use it more like that, but I don't like rely on GPT to write my code. It is like kind of scarily good though at like writing some of this obscure code. So I just use the guest account. It's annoying because sometimes it kicks me off. Yeah, so I don't know if making an account will make it better, because it has like a memory, doesn't it? Or you can have like multiple chats. Yeah. Yeah, and I know there's stuff like GitHub Copilot, I think, is like a built-in AI autocomplete that people use. And I don't know. I'm not really too interested in that, to be honest. Like I get kind of annoyed by autocomplete in general, because like it only works half the time, I feel like. So I don't know if I'd want like AI just trying to figure out all the functions I'm writing, but I'm sure some people get utility out of it, so I don't know. All right. So I guess the next step is... No, it's fine. Yeah, I'm kind of like staring blankly because I just finished kind of like one of the harder parts. So now it's like I can take a bit of a break. This was like way harder than I thought it was going to be to like reason about. Because in these commands, so like this is like a command, right? You just type this in. Right? Yeah, so like you can type these in, and the idea is once you type them in, they'll just like do something. But I have like optional parameters. So like here, like the required part, like this is a command, set your position, and then you give it 3 coordinates. But in this example, only the X and the Y would be required. So you need to type those in for it to work. And then the idea is that you can have additional like parameters that if you don't enter them in, they'll just default to some value. And I'm trying to think, would it ever be possible where like a function would have multiple arrangements of these? Like I would never do this, would I? Because like if I run this, and I start typing this in, yeah, I guess it does work. So I guess I don't know why I couldn't support it. Yeah, so I'm just gonna make these do stuff now. Yeah, so right now I have the commands basically being filtered by what you type, but they don't actually do anything. So we should make them be able to do stuff. So where's the command? Or class command. All right, so this is some C++, really annoying syntax, or C syntax. So this is a variable that holds a function. It's called a function pointer. And it's honestly the most disgusting syntax. It's a void. So this is a return type. It's a void it's a function that returns void, but it's a pointer. You denote it as a function by these parentheses. And if it took in parameters like an integer, you do like that, but it doesn't. So what's cool is you can make this point to another function though, and you can execute the variable like it's a function, like that if you wanted to. So let's do this. We need like a command execute, or execute command. And so we'll first update the candidates. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. It's been a while. What's the website for that? I used to know one. 10 Fast Fingers, maybe. Oh, I already messed up. Oh yeah, type eraser. Yeah, thanks for checking out the stream. It's good conversation. All right, so enter a typing race. Wait, how do I start? Yeah, I'm gonna go to a different one. I think I've used monkey type before. Yeah, I like this one. Oh. All right, I kind of choked at the end. I think I can do better than that. How do I restart? Yeah. My fastest ever was 154, apparently, in February. But today I'm a bit slower. All right, so execute command. We need to update the candidates. So in theory, the first command in the list will be the one that in theory, the first one on the list is think that should work. Can we just tie it into a keyboard shortcut or something? Then we just have to make a little function. Oh, I'm like printing something. Okay, that did not work. Oh, should be greater than or equal to. Yeah, there we go. So that does this at the bottom. And these should not start out as partial matches, should start out as non-matches. And now I guess the commands need a way of getting the parameters. So we have to have like a get parameter. Which I guess returns a token. And you give it an index. And we'll have like get parameter string. Now return the token. Yeah, maybe this should be string. Okay, I should be able to test this now. So if I do like show message and then string, and update this to basically print the get parameter string, the first parameter. Oh, shoot. We have a link error. Oh, I see. Oh, it's off by 1. Of course it is. 2 is out of bounds, 0 to 2. I'm confused. I always have these like off by 1 sort of logical mistakes. So less than equal to, is that correct? No, and then show message test. Yeah, there we go. We can print a string. This is a message. So that works. Now I guess we test, let's see. I guess I can make a little helper function that is just like has parameter. Which is essentially just this, and then it returns that. And then I can simplify this. Or I can just do if not has parameter, just return the default value. And then return the string. We'll make a little macro for this. No, I don't use Fmod. Actually, I have my own little audio engine in here. It's pretty basic though. I can show it in a second, but this is gonna error, so I need to fix this. Let's see. And param. Oh shoot, I need to get the command still. This is kind of dumb, I'm getting it twice. I should just assert this here. Or no. What's the issue? 2 overloads. Oh, it doesn't know what a command is. Yeah. And then that's a great question. I don't have an answer for that. Because I learned it in like the least efficient way possible, probably. By like slowly just learning it over time as I needed it. And like I learned a bit of it at college as well. Because like we had to use it for some of the courses there. Okay, this is just getting annoying. What's this mad about? It knows what a command is. It's right here. Must return a value. does return a value. Oh no, it doesn't. Show message. Okay, I can show off the audio engine really quickly. It's really basic though. So I have like just simple stuff. Like you can play audio tracks and sound effects and you can modify them with filters or little effect layers. So here's like a low pass cutoff. You have like reverb. And like here, just playing like music. But I actually wrote the audio engine myself. So in the code here. So for each platform, there's basically a different audio, I guess, system. So Windows uses the Wasapi audio engine, I guess. I don't know, it's like Microsoft's own little audio engine. So basically for the engine, I basically had to implement just a little layer that abstracts over those. So like Linux uses ALSA is like the big one, and Mac uses Core Audio Library or System. I don't know what these are considered. But it's like actually not much code. Like you can see this to support audio on Windows. Like most of this is just error checking. Like, oh, we have to create an audio service and then we have to like get the buffer size. And like the actual code that does stuff here is pretty much nothing. But there is the audio mixer, which is a bit more complicated. So the audio mixing code is about 1,000 lines long. And that's because I have some debug stuff at the bottom here. So this is just like printing overlays for debug. But the actual audio mixer. Yeah, so here's like the code that actually combines the audio layers and like does the effect layering and stuff. So it's not a ton of code really. And what's cool is if you write your own audio mixer, like you have literally just full control over what happens to the sound. It's kind of fun because the terminology for sound is you render sound, kind of like graphics, but with sound. So yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. And kind of the only reason I did this is because in this engine, I'm trying to minimize the amount of dependencies I have, like external dependencies. And that's just because I wanted to do that. It's just a goal for myself. So I pretty much use no third-party code except besides the things that you really can't avoid. Like I can't avoid that I have to run on the Windows operating system. So I link to like the C runtime and have to interact with, the Windows operating system. And for graphics, like I have to use OpenGL or DirectX or like Vulkan or whatever. And I do use a library for things like font rasterization. So I use TrueType for that. And then there's another one I use for loading images, like PNG files. Mostly because I just don't want to write my own PNG decoder. Because I don't know, that's not going to get me anywhere. And then it gets even a little more crazy than that because I actually don't use anything from the C++ standard library either. So And I do that mainly for compile times because C++ is notorious for having like really bad compile times. Whereas in my engine, it's like pretty much instant. Okay, not exactly instant. It takes like from pressing run, pressing build to actually, I do use Linux, but I prefer, I prefer, as a daily driving operating system, I prefer Windows. I was actually just on Linux yesterday because I had to write some code for the Linux backend for some of my debug code. I was getting it to print call stacks. And printing call stacks is like different depending on what operating system you're running on, annoyingly. So I had to like go on Linux and write some code specifically for Linux. But I feel like every time I go on Linux, maybe I'm just like stupid or something, but every time I go on Linux, it like my stuff is always broken. And I'm like playing this game of trying to fix, I don't know, broken things about my Linux install, and I don't know. And like I couldn't get my IntelliSense to work on Linux either. Like it wasn't detecting that my files were C++ for some reason. So I think my VS Code install was broken. It was just, I don't know. That's my that's my thoughts on all of that. All right, so now we just have to write some wrapper functions for these getters for the parameters. So get parameter int u32 be an unsigned integer. Maybe you want to get a Boolean and float. What else would I usually get? I'm actually going to put the string. Yeah, I guess if I need more, I'll just add them as I go. So wow, there's a huge spider on my wall. There's like a spider that's like an inch big on my wall right now. That's crazy. All right, we're not having that. 1 second. I am not having that. The spider has been relocated. I'll just say that. Okay, so get string. So I think I don't wait, should I start with C# or C++? I think probably C# would be better, but at the same time, I don't have much C# experience. But the reason I say C# might be better is because you're not having to worry as much about, I guess, memory with C#. So it's a little more beginner friendly probably. Though, I guess one could make the argument that maybe learning memory right off the bat would probably could be better. So learning C or C++ might be better. Yeah, I unfortunately I don't have like better advice than sort of the cliche. Just learn by writing code. That's how I do it. When I want to learn something, I just try and write code for it. And then usually my first few attempts are not, I don't know, not the best solutions, but each time you sort of learn how to do it, like, I don't know, how to do it better. And then after a while, you'll learn that most problems in programming are just like a few fundamental patterns. Yeah. Like, honestly, like, programming is not super complicated once you learn. It's like you need just to be in a certain mindset for it to make sense. And it's like a hard thing to teach, I think, because it's like, how do you teach somebody to have a specific mindset for like understanding code, right? It's just something that you have to like develop it. But like for me, there was like a certain point where it just kind of clicked. And it's like, oh, okay, I kind of understand how the flow works here, and like you just see like the higher level structure, I think, and you just understand what to do. So it's like hard. I don't know. I don't have good advice on how to learn that, other than just like writing code and just trying to do things. Like this project, this game engine, like I'm pretty much writing everything like completely from scratch here. So, and like I don't know how to write audio mixing before I try to do it here. But it's like, now that I've done it, it's like, okay, now I really understand how audio works now. It's like I've like sort of gained an intuition for how audio works on computers. And it's like, and you kind of realize, like, I learned that it's actually not that complicated. It's just like an array of values that represent the loudness of like a sound at a given time interval, right? It's like, okay, well, it's not that hard. You just like generate an array of floating point numbers, and then you send it to the operating system, and it'll the driver magic will actually get it to play on your device. But it's like that for everything. Like, it's like, okay, you want to render menus. Okay, it's like, well, how do you render things? Like, well, the most fundamental form of rendering on a computer is you render a triangle to the screen, right? And then like a step up from a triangle is rendering a quad, which is just two triangles, right? And it's like, well, most graphics on a computer are just a bunch of quads, right? It's like an icon is just a square with textures on it. Like it has, so yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling now, but yeah, right now I'm working on the game engine. Yeah, so right now I'm working on the game engine, not a game specifically. I can pull it up really quickly. Prior to this project, I guess for more context for, I don't know, people who are just here for the first time, I was working on this game here, if it will run. It doesn't want to run. Yeah, so I was working on this game. Looks like a Terraria clone, so just ignore that. There's really not much game here. But so I was working on this. But this is just a game. So like the question kind of comes up, like what's the difference between a game and a game engine? Or like what even is a game engine? Well, this project, this code base here was the engine. So I was still writing this in C++ kind of from scratch, but the game engine was basically integrated into the project. So there's like really tight coupling between them. And I got like decently far along. This is like 6 months of programming to get to this far. But then I kept getting annoyed because I would have ideas for things I wanted to test, or like maybe I don't want to work in this specific project right now, but I still want to use a lot of the stuff I've already written. It's like, well, I can't really reuse stuff because it's like really tightly integrated with this game. So then I decided, well, okay, I should probably do this like the correct way, which involved just basically separating the game engine from the games. So I'm writing this now, which is, the code I'm working on right here is the engine code. But within the engine, I can make multiple games. So like this application here is a game in the engine. So this is just like, there's nothing to this. But if I switch here, I can like go to this little voxel renderer I have. Oh shoot, I have to figure this out. 1 second, return 0. Here's like a voxel renderer. So this is written in the engine, but this is like a game made in the engine. And it's like that, and like I can have multiple of these. So like here's a little, if this will run, I'm not sure if this will run. Okay. Yeah, here's like a little asteroids game, like the old arcade game. Yeah, and like I have chess in here as well, if this will work. I don't know, I haven't tested these in a while. So I made like a little chess simulator. And these are just like to test that the engine can actually work in a general purpose way. Because ideally I write this game code that allows me to like render graphics and create a window and play audio and yeah, it's definitely, yeah, I could talk about this for a while because I'm like really deep in the weeds here. You really just have to break down what your needs are from a system. Like I guess I can just, I know I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but I find this interesting. So the way I've structured it, so the way I've structured this is I have basically this this backend here, and this is like essentially the core stuff that I don't know, to have an application on a computer that it displays interactive graphics, like you kind of need all of these things. So like you have to be able to create a window. So like I have this window backend. And the reason I have a backend is because I support multiple operating systems. So I have Linux, Mac, and Windows. But you can see like, okay, so you have to have an abstraction layer for the window. You have to have an abstraction layer for the timer. So you need timer for like managing the frame rate. Profiling can be useful. Basically, it's useful to have access to a precision timer. You probably want multi-threading for different things. You need it for like audio mixing. You need to have multi-threading because the audio mixing happens on a separate thread. Networking, I haven't actually implemented this yet. This is placeholder. Graphics obviously has to have an abstraction layer because annoyingly the world of graphics has like 3 different standards for how you program graphics. The main ones being Vulkan, DirectX, or I guess maybe 4. You have like you have the Vulkan API, you have DirectX on Windows, and then you have Metal on Mac. So there's like the 3 big ones. OpenGL is there too, but it's kind of being deprecated for Vulkan. You need to be able to interact with the file system, and you kind of get the point here. So like that's this is a clear example of like, you know, just abstraction layers, right? But then on top of that, like if you have a game, there's other systems you need too. Like, let's see. So like a game, typically you have objects or entities, people call them. So like basically like, okay, in Minecraft you have, I don't know, like sheep and pigs and zombies and stuff. Those are all objects, entities. And this is like a useful pattern in games, is to basically have a way of creating things that act as independent objects, right? So, and that's just not something just given to you in programming. You actually have to like write these systems. So like an object system is sort of a fundamental thing that you would want. And yeah, like what else? I don't know. Different library features, like you want like a math library for doing like matrix multiplication and all of that stuff. So essentially it's like, as you're working on a game, it's like what in this is like reusable, right? And like how can you design it in a way where like, okay, like I'm making a Minecraft clone, but then someone else is making Call of Duty. It's like, what are the similarities between that? It's like, well, both games are like 3D games, so you're gonna have to have like math library for handling 3D graphics. They both have objects, like in Minecraft it's the sheep, whereas in Call of Duty it's like, I don't know, a jeep or an airplane. So you want some sort of system that can just handle objects. And yeah, it's essentially just doing that, but for like every decision you make when you're making a game engine. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling, it feels like, but yeah. And like the other thing that I guess I can talk about briefly is that so you have the game engine, which is, I call it the runtime. So like when you're actually running the application, right? This window that you're playing in, this is like the running game, right? This is where all the game logic happens, and all that stuff. But for a game engine, that's only like part of the equation. So you actually, there's like a step before that to actually get the runtime. You need to compile it. You need to build it. So a game is made up of assets. So you have assets in the form of like images and sound effects and all of that. Like 3D models would be assets. But then you could also consider code to be an asset, right? Like you compile code, which is like an asset that needs to be, I don't know, processed in order to become the runtime. But you also have to process these, I don't know, the graphical assets, like the textures and the sounds. So my engine isn't just the runtime, it's also the build system associated with it. So on the right side here in the console, you can see the build pipeline. So like this whole section here happens basically anytime I click run. So it's like, okay, well, I have all these raw assets on disk here. Like I have like, let me see. I have like a bunch of fonts, right? Font files and like audio files. But these need to be converted into a format that the game can actually understand when you're running it. So there's basically a whole build step that needs to happen as well. And part of the purpose of a game engine is to handle that process of building assets into a format that can be, I don't know, efficiently used while the game is running. But yeah. So a big part of this actually is the build system. Like the object system in my engine relies heavily on like stuff that happens during the build process. So in like, there's a lot of abstraction that needs to happen at the build process too, because different games have different needs. Like Call of Duty needs to be able to load, I don't know, high resolution models with animations, whereas Minecraft doesn't. So I'm actually working on. Currently, I'm working on a cheat menu, I guess you could say. So I'm working on a debug console. So I have one in this project from last year. So I made this last year. So like this whole little terminal thing where you can enter commands is I guess you could consider it cheats. I don't know. But yeah, right now I'm actually implementing this, but in my new code base. So I have it like partially working, but it's a work in progress. Sorry, I'm getting kind of distracted here. There's something happening off my screen. Let's go back. Nice. Oh, what's wrong here? Why isn't it like this? Incompatible. Oh. Wait, what? Yeah, I got a CS degree. Honestly, I don't know how useful the degree was overall. Maybe I did go to a good school, but I feel like I learned most of the stuff I know just by like doing stuff like on my own. So I don't think you need a degree to like learn any of this stuff. It's definitely nice for like kind of giving you, I don't know, a set of guidance though. So that aspect's good. Oh, what's the issue? These are not const. Yeah, exactly. 32. 2. Is there an unsigned int version of this function? I guess I do long. Oh, shoot. to F. Float. Yeah, so the Boolean function is a little more complicated. So if it begins with a Y or begins with a true or false, yes, no. Int U32. So I think I have all these supported. All right, let's just test all of these. So cannot open file systems.exe. What? How am I debugging? All right, what do we have here? So true is the string that goes to value 0. True for Boolean and float. So now if we pass it just an integer, 1, 2, 3, 4, then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we pass it a Boolean value, we get 1, 0. Yeah, I agree. That's what's kind of rough about YouTube, or just learning from videos in general. It's like People just kind of ramble on. Or it's like hard to find exactly what you're looking for. I have this running in the background. So in theory, I can set default values for these two. So show message. Yeah, cool. Yeah, here's kind of another example of having sort of abstraction layers. So basically, what I've been writing for the last like 10 minutes are these little get parameter functions. So a parameter in, oh shoot, what did I do? Oh, I have a rogue character. So basically when you have a function or a little command in my little console, every little thing afterwards that are like in parentheses or these little caret things, those are parameters. So like the show message part, this is like required in the string, the command. Then anything after that is like a parameter to the command. So like here's the show message. If I just type something, it's gonna just basically print that value to the console. Here's a little debug. But there's different types of values. So you have like a string, which is obviously a string of characters. So like show message, this is a sentence, right? So the string is like the sentence. But some commands you might want numbers. So those are integers or unsigned integers. That's what the U is. So like show message. I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It gets those in integers. And then like floating point is basically a number with a decimal on it. So integers are whole numbers, and then you have floating point, which are numbers with decimals. And Boolean is a true or false. But in C, basically there are ways of extracting numbers from strings with these little functions. And these are really unhelpfully named A to I. I forget what A even stands for, but that's like to integer. A to F is, I should really look up what does A stand for, but that's like to float. But essentially what I did to sort of make my life a little easier here is I wrote the get string first. Oh yeah, ASCII. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's like from ASCII character to integer. So yeah, basically the fundamental parameter type is the string, right? Because that's just what the parameters are. It's what these tokens are. So everything's a string, and then I have to convert from a string. So like I have all of the logic of getting the actual like token from the console little system in the string parameter one. And then like when I call for like an integer, it's like, okay, I just get the string and then get the parameter for the string and then just like call the A2I to turn it into an integer. Which is nice because then I know I only have to like do these debug, like error checking conditions in this base function. And then like the rest of the code, I'll just know that this stuff will always work, because like if there is a failure, it's already going to be caught here. So that's just like a little, I don't know, example of a sort of thing you think about. It's just like, how can you organize your code to sort of reuse other parts? I know it's pretty basic, but it's kind of like that just in general, though. Like in this little project, I have little UI widgets here. So I was working on these last week. There's like the same principle. It's like you have like, here's a color picker, and here's like a text box, or like a text editor. Here are sliders. But all of these share like a lot of common components. Like they all have a position, they all have like dimensions, and they all have like a few basic like state, like is the mouse hovering over them? Like, are they being actively moved? So like I've sort of designed the system in a way that all of these sort of unique components, these unique widgets, basically inherit from the sort of basic commonality, the common widget, I guess you could call it. And that's just object-oriented programming, which is pretty, I don't know, fundamental paradigm for programming. But in my code, I only use like object-oriented when it makes sense for a problem. So for the UI, it definitely makes sense because that's just like the best way of creating a UI system, like organizing it. But for other systems, yeah, right. But yeah, I think I'm actually going to end the stream here. It's getting kind of late for me, and I'm kind of losing my mind a little bit. I've actually been at this for like 4 hours now, 5 hours. I had a stream earlier, but the chat wasn't working, so I was like sitting here just talking to myself for like an hour, and then I realized that the chat wasn't working. Yeah. I'll probably stream again tomorrow evening, so maybe you can look forward to that. Otherwise, probably on Sundays usually. I think maybe I should have a schedule. I don't know, I'm just kind of doing this whenever I feel like I'm in the mood, but it's kind of fun actually. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad I could at least inspire you. So if there's any value in it, at least I'm Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I'll stream probably around the same time, so you can look forward to that. But yeah, thanks for stopping by, guys. I appreciate the conversation. It's fun. See ya.